morning, YouTube. Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. So, today's the day. So the things that we should be doing the most before I get into the video here, of course, is helping these videos get out into the algorithm. So that means liking these videos, sharing these videos especially. So if anyone you know happens to be in the orange and red areas here, make sure you get this video out to them, or any other weather YouTuber that you may watch, Ryan Hall, Direct Weather, Mitch West Weather, whoever it may be. Make sure you're getting this info out to people. Best way for people to get through this is for everyone to look out for one another. So in the event, and also making sure that you're heeding the warnings today. This is not a day to mess around. So if a tornado warning is issued, do not try to look for the storm. Don't try to go see it. These storms are likely going to be moving at highway speeds, 50 to 70 miles an hour. And with that being the case, the second a tornado warning is issued, you shouldn't look for it. You should just go take shelter. Don't sit around and wait, because by that point, the storm's going to be on you before you can even blink. So if we make smart decisions, we should be able to keep injuries and more down to a minimum. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what we could be seeing over the course of the day. So not much has changed since the video I made last night. Still have the significant damaging wind threat further up to the northern side of the severe event, towards the false cold core setup. Significant damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour. Even some areas could be seeing above hurricane force damaging winds across this region right here. There's still potential for 70 mile per hour plus damaging winds here as well. So we need to keep a close eye on areas through Jackson, Memphis, and Little Rock. Areas further to the south, just to the north of Greenville, just outside of Nashville. Wouldn't surprise me if you ended up inside of that hatched risk later today, possibly, depending on how conditions develop. But Peoria, Springfield, Illinois, Hannibal, Des Moines, it's not quite Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is all the way back there. You always got to be careful of those little optical illusions. But anywhere from eastern Iowa, we're going to be watching you for the potential of damaging winds above 70 miles per hour, maybe even above hurricane force. So we're keeping a close eye on you. Hopefully you guys are prepared for the day. Make sure you have a course of action, even if it's a considerable severe thunderstorm warning or a constructive or destructive severe thunderstorm warning. You should treat that like a tornado warning today. Hail threat is the smallest of all the threats, but even so, we could still see some pretty significant hail up to the north here. Still possible along the south here too. It depends on how conditions develop across this region over the course of the day. But the biggest story, of course, is the tornado threat. This area yesterday afternoon got upgraded to a 15% over towards the north. So between Peoria and Des Moines, we could see some significant tornadoes. Springfield and Hannibal, you are outside of the moderate risk for tornadoes. However, you are still in the enhanced risk, so this is not something to be taken lightly. Some other cities that are in that line of fire as well: Jefferson, Missouri, St. Louis, and probably many others around here that I can't even begin to name. And then, of course, over towards this other moderate risk, which is almost exclusively for tornadoes, we have Jackson, Memphis, Little Rock. We also have to look towards the edge of this significant risk for Nashville. We also have to keep an eye on Greenville today, areas over towards central Mississippi as well, unfortunately. These areas just got hit, unfortunately, and hopefully we have a way to keep these folks safe as they're trying to clean up. So, yeah, this kind of leaves a pit in your stomach just thinking about it. Let's hope that this day honestly is a bust. If I'm live streaming and I see several hours of nothing, I'm gonna be very happy, actually, because this is not the type of setup you mess around with. That being said, we'll go ahead and go into what the models look like here. We already know the situation with the warm and the moist sector. I was examining that just before I started recording. The main things we're going to look at is the composite reflectivity here. We're going to get an idea of what these storm modes will look like here. So there's two regions we're going to hone in on at this point. First one, we already know this. It's going to be over towards this region here, and then we're going to switch over to the other one in just a second. Storms already starting to fire. Some of these are going to end up being confluence bands, which will help prime the environment. There could even be some severe storms that fire off in the morning here too. So far we haven't had any warnings, but we'll see if that ends up changing. But there could also be multiple rounds of storms across this region here. I'm trying to keep the time frame in here too, but we'll keep an eye on this region, I think, with the other sector. But towards Iowa and Illinois is where I'm mainly going to be focusing on this one. So the first round of storms goes through. HRRR is not really impressive with this most recent run. But from what we can see here, storms start to fire by 17Z, which would be just before lunchtime in my time zone. You can already see some of these getting that supercell characteristic shape. And we see multiple of them even having the hook echo esque appendage. And this will persist into the early afternoon hours. So that'll be the first round. And then we actually don't see a second round on this apparently now. Last night there were a couple of runs that were suggesting multiple rounds. There still could be. In fact, yeah, that is 2 rounds still. This just looked a little different from what I saw last night. I'm still waking up, guys. But that being said, there could be 1 round of supercells, and this will not weaken I can't speak, but this is the first round here. This is the second round that's supposed to be following. Could see tornadoes and significant damaging winds from both of them before this evolves into a squall line and then eventually transgresses to the east. Then on the backside of this, we could be even seeing snow towards some of these same areas that we're seeing significant storms. That being, now we'll switch over to, computer's not working. Get more sleep, Ty. Get more sleep. But that being said, we're going to switch over to this sector right here and watch what happens throughout the course of the afternoon. So this is the early morning hours. Few storms try to form. By about 19Z, you can already see a line of supercells beginning to develop across Arkansas. And this could be the first of multiple rounds. By the time we get to 22Z, we're starting to see an increased number of supercellular thunderstorms across parts of Missouri, parts of Kentucky, and now starting to work their way into Tennessee and eventually even Mississippi. By this point, I'll probably be home to live stream this. By OOZ, we could see a line of storms going, basically a line of supercellular storms going through Kentucky, Tennessee, and then now starting to work their way into Mississippi by about 8 p.m. This will probably be about 7 p.m. Central. And then after that, we start to see the progression into a squall line, but any prefrontal storms out ahead of that could still produce strong to violent tornadoes. By the time we get into the overnight hours, the tornado threat starts to diminish a little bit, but we still have to keep an eye out for significant damaging winds as we head into the early morning hours of Saturday. But by that point, most of the damaging wind threat and severe threat in general will start to diminish. And then by Saturday afternoon, I think that storm system should be out of here. So we got to make sure we're paying attention. We got to make sure we're heeding those warnings, be it severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, because you will never know what these storms will do until they are on top of you. So don't sit out. Again, maybe repeating myself, it may sound a little bit off kilter a little bit because I'm tired. But still, fact of the matter is, do not sit around and wait. These storms are going to be moving quickly, and the atmosphere is set up in a way to produce some violence. So here we are looking at the significant tornado parameters, some pretty high numbers already starting out the morning, and this isn't going to be peak time. Here's where it starts to really pick up here. Seeing 4s, 5s, and even beyond that. Here's the here's the marker right here. Go ahead and click one of these soundings here really quickly. Look at that, PDS tornado. And you're going to see a lot of, if I show you these soundings, you're going to see a lot of these. What really alarms me is these soundings right here. I'm gonna switch over to my marker in just a second here. Oops. But whenever you see curvatures starting to go like this more, like what you're seeing there, they're starting to get past this little 60 knot marker. That's very troublesome. So whenever you see something like this is a telltale sign. This looks like a very discrete supercell, also a very photogenic supercell. But having that right there is never a good sign. That and the storm relative helicity being as high as it is, 381 meters squared per second squared, and also having an environment where we're sitting at over 2,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. Just about everything is on the table in this environment here. But this is just one example of many. This is over towards Missouri. This is just before lunch. This is right around lunchtime for you guys. So that's when the threat will exist for you. Then we'll watch this pick up further to the north as time goes on here. This is looking into Illinois. It's about 1 or 2 o'clock. Pretty similar deal. Same type of curve in the hordeograph. This could be a very intense and very historic tornado event if these factors come to fruition. There's still a chance that there are some failure options, but there aren't many. So again, I know I keep saying it. Make sure you have a plan of action. I will keep saying it. I don't care if it gets you mad, but that's what it's going to take for you to be safe through this entire event. If you have to sit there all day, do what you have to do. I know it's inconvenient. I know you don't want to do it. No one wants you to have to do it, but in order to keep yourself safe, that's what it's going to take. Just all across the board, just able to see, just seeing a PDS tornado. Since I've started doing this on YouTube, I've never seen anything like this. And it's just persistent. That's the scariest part. It's just persistent. Look at that. Even with the storms that are in a more linear mode here, we could still see significant tornado potential. And then as we get into the evening hours here, the threat will finally start to diminish. But look how high these values are getting. And I find that very alarming. So, like I said, multiple rounds of tornadoes could be possible with these storms, albeit supercellular, embedded, or linear. So it is on you to take care of yourself today and keep yourself safe as well as your loved ones. So please, just do that for me. You want to help all of us out in the weather community, do us and yourself a favor and keep yourself safe today. Again, like this video, share this video. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, definitely do that. I do intend to live stream, but it might be a little later than everyone else because I got to work today, unfortunately. But just make sure that you are doing your part to keep yourself safe. We're doing the stuff here to keep you warned. The rest is up to you. That being said, this has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I gotta get ready to go. I'll see you guys soon. Take care and have a good day. Stay safe and stay weather aware.